Hello, everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of our review of Danny Brown's album. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually the name of the album. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm supposed to say it with that accent, but I just feel like that's the accent I just picture when I hear that. Anyway, my name is Holden Stephan Roy. Joining me today is the second hottest guy in the call center. He got dethroned. A new Hawkeye got hired today. We got the phone call. It's over. Chris is the second hottest guy in the call center.
I don't go back to work until Monday, so I'm going to figure that out.
I remember the phone call you got when you were dethroned because we tweeted it out and, got some love and some girls called up Chris. I'm so sorry to tell you this, but number 2.
I don't know about that.
If you want to know
my name is Chris Chrome,
what
guys.
we're talking about, you can check out part 1 of this very review of Danny Brown's album, You Know What I'm Saying, where we talked about the first 5 tracks, including Dirty Laundry, and I say that because my laundry is now clean and put away. When the girlfriend gets home, she'll be happy with me. And on that note, we still have 6 tracks to get through as we go through the remainder of this album. Track by track, the amateurs that we are, looking forward to seeing your comments and a little fearful that y'all may be some savage nomads. So I saw the movie Bodied, which features lots of battle rapping and stuff. And one of the cool lines in that movie is when he's battling the rapper EXO, and he goes, "XO's X-Ho," and then here we come with the Danny Brown, and he goes, "Might sniff on the weekend and sip on some EXO, because on the weekend." That's a guy from Canada, and he does very well on the charts. Yep. And he's affiliated with the EXO group.
I think that's his thing.
I know it is his thing, but I wanted to be like vague. And back up in this bitch like I fucked my EXO, because after doing some EXO, which could also be some mollies or whatever, you get a little high and you fuck your EXO. Very clever lyrics. I mean, I like the beat of this. It's got a cool vibe to it where I feel like it stands out on this album in a way where it's got a little more distinction.
I feel like it's more dark, trappier, aggressive.
And even like just the way he like starts the track off, fuck school, stole the scales out of the chemistry class and made it all come back like memory lapse.
That's dope.
Memory lapse, you remember all the stuff that was missing for a second, and when he stole the scales, he flipped his stuff and made the money. But I like the fact that he's still keeping on tone with this album, reflecting back in that other era, kind of describing a little bit. It's almost like this album is maybe explaining how he got to the more crazier parts of his life that maybe people were seeing a few years back, and I think that's really cool of him. And he goes in with this very like hard-hitting flow, and again it's just like line for line with a calmer, slower pace. A weatherman at B, I predict the forecast, shower any beat with the dirtiest vocab. This was the 70s, I'd be a savage nomad, shirtless with a vest, staying warm by burning trash. And if I'm not mistaken, the Savage Nomads were one of the gangs back in the day, and that would have been something that was happening. You would have had no shirt on as you were wearing your vest,
right?
And you would have been by the garbage can. Like, I'm almost picturing like the Warriors and whatnot, right?
I was just thinking that.
And the way he just showers beats with the dirtiest vocab, like sleeping with giant ladies / cocaine, however you want to look at that song. And I just really like who you think you're dealing with. My resume is killer, bitch. Dealt with so much pain that I don't know what the feeling is.
The Savage Nomads were a mostly Puerto Rican and African American street gang started in the South area of the Bronx, New York during the late 1960s, gaining popularity in the 1970s. The gang was involved in a number of running battles with rival gangs 7 Immortals, Savage Skulls, and the Dirty Dozen. The Savage Nomads were alleged to be involved in numerous small crime activities.
Thank you, Wikipedia. Anyway.
Yes, Wikipedia.
I feel like it's got this cool thing, and then so we get this like situation where he's gone through so much shit, or even just the bluntness of a line, like been through so many raids. We treat that shit like it's a fire drill, like the cops showing up and shit is nothing to them. I know what a fire drill's like. I remember when we'd go outside and stand in the cold as we went through the fire drill in the winter.
I never gave a fuck. That was me. I did not have to be in class.
But then to go mayday, mayday, sound the alarm, woo, and have it almost be like the police and the fire drill.
Like it's actually happening. Right?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty like I think it's really, I think he's able to paint pictures in a way that is truly distinct.
I really like how it fits in with all his, like the way he's sporadic with his Like the way he paints his pictures sporadically and like giving all these effects to the verses is really super dope. The way it connects with his like sporadic personality and everything.
And then I love how he just ends the verse with, and if any other person got a problem with me, I'll pull up on your playground at 2:45, motherfucker. Because it's like, that's what you would do back in the school days. Yo, 2:45, school's out.
Meet you, bike racks, be there, be square.
Or, but then it ends it with that motherfucker, like that pettiness, the extra little punch to it.
Right.
And then it's just laughing for a little bit over the beat. Then you get the second verse. Check who you think you do.
But hold on. Just to comment on the laughing, it does set up this like cynical, maniacal type of feel. Like he's literally kind of lost his rocker in a sense. Like it really does have a good effect on the song in terms of like contextualizing. I think where we're at in his in the album, where we are for himself, because even when he starts the second verse and he goes, who you think you're dealing with, the flow, Chinese arithmetic, tripping if you get real nasty like black licorice.
That's sick that he brings up Chinese arithmetic like that, because that's a fucking sick track.
Right.
I don't know if you remember it, like from that, what is it, Eric B. and Rakim?
Yep.
Yeah. And just that instrumental was slick. Anyway, go on.
Well, no, I was just saying, like, he's coming in, but the way that he does, the way that he presents it is kind of cuckoo in a sense. Like it's kind of not like he doesn't sound like he's fully there. He kind of sounds like he's kind of raging. He kind of sounds like he's maybe intoxicated or maybe just gone manic. Like it really does, the laughing interlude really does set up the context of the second verse.
Can we just find out how good a lyric I ignore a whore like an email from LinkedIn is?
I saw that.
Because like on the real, I ignore so many emails from LinkedIn that I related to that. I related to that so hard. And then the fact that he has women showing up in his life with that level of frequency is pretty cool. And I like how it goes, it's quite simple. I'm mental all over instrumentals, detrimental to health, lyrics is quintessential.
Ooh.
Fuck around, make the money, make the money, I'll whip your head and gotta wrap it up like you was hit. Anyway.
It rhymes because it's A and money, and then he goes nay with the ad lib, so it's cool.
And then I'll whip your head, because it's like I'll whip your head in the shape of a nene or whatever.
Yeah.
It kind of made me think of that.
Mm-hmm.
But just the fact that the way he hits his flow is like a quintessential something to destroying, like to keeping his sanity or whatever, is kind of what I felt from that. I just really liked where he's coming from on this one. I thought it really followed suit with everything we've heard so far. But because it had such a different vibe and energy to it, and it's at the middle of the album, so I feel like if we want to do the Chris Chrome thing and look at the story, the whole first part of this album has been kind of exploring the darker parts of his life. You know, you get to Belly of the Beast, where it's almost like the most depraved part of it so far, and so he's lashing out as a savage nomad. He's depraved, he's manic, he's ready to go. And then, you know, maybe things start to pick up a little bit as the rest of the album starts to flow on. So I thought it was really cool that you placed that right in the middle, and I'm giving this another 4.5. I think it's really great.
I gave the song a 4.3. I do agree with you. I think that we're kind of seeing this like little change now. It's kind of like the middle of the album, and things kind of seem to be taking a difference. Even with the title of the next track, I feel like this song needed to kind of happen in regards to the story that we've been getting. So 4.3 on 5.
Fair enough. I think we can move it on though and talk about how the reals, we all living our best lives. Alright, Chris, what do you think of this beat and this whole situation?
So this song kind of makes me feel like he's expressing why he's living the life he lives in terms of where he comes from. So he starts off the first verse, come from the sewer where hot dogs get boiled right. Up in the same pot, uncooked the rock.
It's just when he said hot dogs got boiled, I had a lot of memories of boiled hot dogs, and they're not that good to me, personally. Do you guys like boiled hot dogs? I never do it again. Honestly, I don't think I'll bake them. You know, you can barbecue them. Yeah. I mean, I don't even really want hot dogs anymore, but boiled hot dogs just like brings me back to like poor.
Right up in the same pot, uncooked the rock.
Which is crazy. You're boiling the hot dogs, which is what you're feeding your kids and shit, in a sense.
In the same pot that you're cooking up crack.
Oh, that's poor. You know?
Went from flipping on mats to flipping them sacks. Hide and seek, send spots to out on. We'll see crack facts.
We sell crack facts.
We sell crack facts, my bad. So far, we're still kind of keeping that same consistency of where he comes from and what he's been, and what he kind of had to do, I guess, to get to where he is today. War on Drug was a chess game, was a pawn, guns drawn on my front lawn. That was some cool.
No, that's really cool because it points out like how the entire era of the War on Drugs is like a macro level chess game, but when you come down to his level, they're just pawns. They're just nothing. They're disposable people. The drugs and the people dealing, the people in the hood are just perceived as disposable by the system that imposed the War on Drugs.
Just a young homie staring down the corner, checking on the hustlers with the latest kicks on them. Noah homie want, mama ain't got it, fucking up the school, lying, what she know about it. Now I kind of like that because that's also, I feel like it's a little bit more of deeper into his life in terms of like it wasn't just my upbringing or my atmosphere as so much. It was also my curiosity to the people outside. Like you're really kind of getting like he was wanting to know what these guys were doing on the corner. He wanted to see what was going on. He wanted the newer fashion because I guess maybe he didn't have it. But these are the type of guys he in a way kind of like idolized, which was cool. I just want a young homie know what I was headed for. Jumped off the porch. Really, I wasn't ready for it. Now I like that jumped off the porch just because it's kind of like I know that the whole like racial slur with the whole porch concept. I like how he's kind of like taking that back and like I'm not like that won't affect me no more. Like I'm getting off this. I'm gonna go do what I got to do. So that was cool. And kind of continues on with just the same type of narrative of like just getting on the hood and really just trying to strive. Which really the first verse really does set up the chorus in terms of like. As he goes, cause ain't no next life, so now I'm trying to live my best life, cause ain't no next life, so I'm trying to live my best life. And it's really, really just super simple, but I think the simplicity of it really kind of drives home the message of like, I'm just trying to be happy. Because of what I've been through, because of what I've already expressed to you on the album so far that you've heard, these are the reasons that like I'm just trying to live my best life. And I think it really just kind of follows suit. Even the second verse, he goes off, let the past be the past like a bitch with an ass. Let the time go, let it go, just gotta keep moving forward. Left you for a homie with cash, came back, ass fatter, looking better than ever, talking about getting back together. Homie, I'm about to smash. And I like how he's kind of just not like running back to these people who kind of I guess used them or whatnot and just left them for nothing. Kind of giving himself that like sense of like I guess pride and that hopefulness inside of him, which is a cool change given that a couple songs back he was just sleeping with whatever whoever and whatever was going on. Which I feel like there's that's where we're getting that change now. Like he kind of seems a little bit more. Let's call it sober, call it more woke in a sense. So that was cool. I like when people say whatchamacallit. I just like that. I'm a bad whatchamacallit. Used to blow out the toilet after a lockdown in the county, smoking squares with my bunkie. You the type to cry and yell out torny. I don't really know what that means, but I just like the whatchamacallit and how he kind of flows with the rest. And I just feel like it kind of flows suit. It really just kind of still gives you that kind of where I come from. This is what I had to do. And it was really cool. Really, really great. I do like the la la la's. It gives off this like really happy vibe. This like, I'm now happy that I get to do some things with my life and not really feel trapped, not really feel, maybe X, Y, Z, A, B, C. So it was cool. It was that nice little difference in terms of a lot of the weird, just in his head type feels that we were getting. And then we get the chorus again, because I ain't no next life, so I'm trying to live my best life. And it was cool. It was a refreshing different sound and this happier vibe that I really enjoyed. I gave it a 4.2.
All right. I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I just kind of like the juxtaposition of like the airy, kind of loose beats mixed with his harsh, again, bluntness in the way that he delivers the rest of the rhymes. I feel like he also spits in a way that's engaging. I feel like there's some manic energy to like every lyric. Like it's and weirdly enough, it's really flat. Like it doesn't feel like it's super tonal or super melodic. It's more like he keeps it in a flat, consistent way, but he uses his emotions to really capture with every line and make it sound like every lyric really counts. I don't know if you guys catch what I mean by that, but as far as the sound goes, it's a funner track, I think, weirdly enough, on this album. So I gave it a 4.35, because as much as it's a little funner, it's a little out there, it kind of is in a more jazzier direction, which preference-wise I like a little bit less than some of the earlier tracks we were getting on this project. But on a quality front, I think it's equally as good as the other ones, like objectively speaking. It's just like it's smart to have more than one kind of twist to your sound on an album, right? Like otherwise it's kind of boring. So I feel like this was a relevant and necessary move. Like there was no way to make an album that's good without having that kind of a twist in it. Anyways, the next track on this album is called Negro Spiritual, featuring the homeboy JPEG.
No, it's not.
Oh shoot, I'm skipping it.
You know what I'm saying? It's the title track. Holden. You know what I'm saying?
I just wanted you to have that.
You know what I'm saying?
I just
you
wanted
get it right.
you.
You gotta get right.
I wanted you to feel cool. It just keeps up with the smoothness. Honestly, is very similar in like core sound to the last one that we just had, but even more spacey. And I like it again because it shows off a different style of his songwriting. How he can basically he builds the entire track around the line. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's the title track, and then line by line kind of adds some context. I feel like clock ticking. You can't be playing. You know what I'm saying? So each of these lines is going to give you like a little snippet into a core philosophy in his world. Gotta get it how you live, no delaying. Both these things are kind of going through. Time's passing, we gotta work, we gotta focus, we gotta be what it is. Time's hard, no you can't give up. Like bad luck, never get enough. What a shame, you the best, no less. No life gonna put you to the test. Player like you, family no less. No God gonna put you to the test.
Keep in mind, after every line he just said, it goes, know what I'm saying, know what I'm saying. Like it's the whole.
It's like doubling down and being like, look, you gotta really think about it. So at the end of the day, all that is really just. Life's gonna be hard, you still have to grind, and you gotta do it with efficiency because time's passing out. But there's almost like this confidence and this self-assuredness in the way he delivers it all. Like it's like clock ticking, no you can't be playing.
I didn't get
know
that.
what I'm saying? And I felt like he felt like free, like ready to move on with the world, like inside of himself. Like it's been hard, but he understands now the core way to like move with this world.
So I see that. You ever like, okay, so I kind of felt like he may have been a little bit high and he's just talking to somebody and being like, yo man, clock's ticking, you can't be playing. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of just feels like that, like he's having just this like really kind of like spaced out moment where he's just like reassuring his friends or just kind of being like, yo guys, we got shit to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, can't let life knock you down. Can't let this knock you down. You gotta, and I feel, and that's kind of how I took the song. It just kind of felt like this really just having a good time and a happy mood, and he's just like, keep it up, guys. Like, good job, strong, positive, and it was really cool. I like what did we say? Obongjayar.
I don't know how to say his name. Obongjayar.
I like how he does the chorus. That really kind of stood out. It was very soft, but had this bassy tone to it. I like how he goes, my guy, you know work, you know job. My guy, you blink once, you sober. You see this town, wait for nobody. My guy, just holler your composure. And when you're down, it gets cold, I know. My guy, don't stop now, keep moving. My guy, don't stop now, keep moving, we moving. And it's like, it's really kind of just, I think like it's reaching out to the people who feel like they really just have nothing. They don't know what they're doing in their lives. They're kind of just losing it all. And I feel like he's reaching out with this and being like, just keep going forward. Like whatever you feel is proper and a good way to get you out of that slump, that feel, that mode, that vibe, whatever it is, you can just, you got this. Like he's really just trying to instill strength in it. Anything for the second verse?
I mean, I think it just kind of keeps going with it. I mean, you have the hook pointing out I mean, like doubling down, life's hard, but keep going, which is kind of ultimately what the verse is saying. And then hands dirty because I got it out the mud, backstabbed by somebody you love, everybody out here for thyself. You really think somebody else care? If it wasn't for that, wouldn't be this. To get rich, you gotta take a risk. On my own too, you know, I gotta stand. And they say chances, gotta make a champion. So I think this is just pointing out how chances are to achieve some kind of level of real success. Along the way, you're going to get your hands dirty, compromise, have trust issues, have people maybe not work out in the way that you hope it would, or get backstabbed or whatever. And you'll realize along the way that nobody really cares that much outside of what's mutually beneficial, and it's almost like you get a little jaded. So in the first round, the first verse, you're looking at like it's hard, but you have to keep going. In the second verse, it's like it's hard because you're kind of on your own in this. But if you take those chances and you keep taking those risks, you'll achieve and you'll become that champion. It's just a way of kind of focusing, you know. Then didn't know nothing, but I do know this, you know. Didn't know nothing, but I do know this. It's just kind of like all I know is if you keep going, if you keep grinding, if you keep pushing forward, you'll make sense of it all. Which I think, in a sense, is the central theme of what this album's kind of been. He has contextualized throughout each of these songs how hard it's been, but also how he's made it through and how things are like almost better now. So I really like this one in terms of the tone, and really nice. Sonically, my enjoyment, I'm giving it another 4.35 because I found it similar to Best Life in sound, but also really, again, distinct and cool. And like when you have 11 tracks on your album and they don't sound the same, that's a very good thing.
Gave it a 4.2.
All right, now, Chris, with your permission, can we talk about Negro Spiritual?
Now that it's the next song, yes.
All I can say is JPEGMAFIA does the best hook on this album here. It's just, all these getting physical on the outside, looking spiritual, so hot for me. I took the back roads, I took the back seat, I'm at your back door. I just like it. It just, to me, it's like, everyone's getting physical, you know, everyone looks a certain way, or maybe it's kind of talking about the bravado. And I say that because JPEGMAFIA seems to comment on that in general as he takes on his beta male look, so he's clearly not into this alpha male approach. But, you know, on the outside you're looking spiritual, so it looks a certain way, but it's hard for you because you kind of take the back roads, you're doing your own thing, you're going your own way in life, which is a good example for a Danny Brown who, let's be real, like there's not a lot of, like, he's not copying other people. He's not like trying to ride the wave. He's trying to make his own thing, and regardless of the wave, and just put his reality down, which is really respectable to me. But I like how he goes, like, I'm on par like Tiger with 2 white broads. So he's, I guess, able to smash a lot of girls and people want him and find him desirable. Off 3 Xanax, drunk driving in a rental car. He's a little reckless, acting kind of stupid because not really smart to drive drunk. And I guess also pop Xanax and drive drunk. So that's also bad. Don't do that. But I hit her with my best shot, like Pat Benatar. Hit me with your best shot. I thought that was really funny. And because he's really wasted with the 2 white girls and he's going to jizz. He meant cum, semen, Chris. That's his best shot. One got big tits, one got ass like a centaur. So I'll picture him now bashing the one with the nice ass going.
So a centaur, is that the...
That's the horse man. Big ass, nice titties. She's like a mermaid centaur. I've been hard, mixed Cialis with liquor, and we on, so he needs some pills to get his dick up again. I believe that's what Cialis is. Anyway, it's just kind of like putting on this, again, spaced out special, except he's going into this whole like vibe of banging these girls. Pussy slippery like a winter road. That's nice. That's. You ever hear that before? Like a winter road?
No, but it's like, anyway, go on.
Well, what is it, Chris?
I was gonna be stupid and just be like, well, it's cool because, like, you know, there's ice in Canada. And then I'm like, yeah, but there's like fucking winter everywhere.
I can assure you, the Canadian vaginas I have entered have all been nice, warm, and gooey. Not so cold.
Slippery.
They are slippery. I didn't say they were dry. Getting head like winter gloves. Getting heated like winter gloves. Here we go.
Nice.
Do we have heated gloves? Do we get those? Are those real things? Oh, I guess it's just regular gloves keep your hands warm.
Well,
but I want heated gloves now.
Heated gloves. They're designed. I've had some. They're designed. It's like the hot paws. They're designed with.
Do you guys have hot paws wherever you are?
They take it basically just kind of takes the heat from your hands, and instead of just like putting it out of the glove, it just has like I would say like aluminum, or not aluminum, but like whatever type of coating before it goes, and it just kind of retracts it back into your hands, so it just consistently stays warm like an oven.
Fair.
It's cool.
And then in the second verse, I think again we've jumped ahead of when he's more like in a better condition than he was in the first verse. Although maybe not. Maybe he's just flossing the whole way through, right? Because at this point it's like his life's a little better. And that whole first verse sounds pretty good. He's got a couple ladies, he's having some good times.
Right.
On my wrist is vintage and it's mint condition. Came a long way from not having a pot to piss in. So back in the day.
Well, hold on, wait. Before we, okay, I didn't know we skipped the second verse. Pre-chorus, you get what you ask for. You get what you ask for. I'm a little confused on that. Like when he said that, when Danny Brown said that the first time, I felt like he was like, "Yo, you fuck with me, I'm gonna beat your ass up." Like that's kind of how I took it, and I don't, because he ends the first verse with, "Who care what you say, so you ain't slow. Who care what you say, so you ain't slow. People better quit playing, bro, before I blow a fofo, make you XO." So right off the bat, I feel like right there, he's kind of like, "Yo, don't fuck with me," and then you get what you ask for. You get what you ask for. But then, so I feel like maybe he was fucking some women. Shit kind of went sour. People started kind of running some shit, and then, like, I don't know, like, I'm a little bit confused on this track because it kind of sounds like...
I think you're just really overthinking that. I mean, I think he's so like, I'm up here, my life is where it's at, and you're just grabbing it all, and then if you want to come step to me...
He got what he's asking for.
But I mean, like, you have to, like, look at it in the context. You've already got the whole album painting a big picture of what's going on, and if you fit that into the big picture, it makes total sense. He's just kind of, again, expressing, I'm over here, and maybe some people are talking shit or whatever, and then if you want to come to him, you'll get taken out, and you go and get what you asked for. Now, it's interesting to me because, on the one hand, if you live a certain way, this is like a whole lifestyle in this first verse too, right? Like it's like the whole more fast living type thing he's describing. Maybe it's just painting it to that point where if you live that way, you're going to get what you asked for. Then the second verse, season tickets to the Pistons, cut crack on dishes. Every dream I have, I live it. People, what's the business? Tell me what's happening. Came a long way from copping eights to a half a rack. Now in the latest fashion, jacket made her crash.
Hey.
So what I think
is... jacket.
As he's pointing out the successes and wins and kind of reflecting, I've come a long way from this point out. It's also like if you look at it, you're going to get what you ask for. If you ask for these great things in life, you're going to get for them as much as it's the threat. So it's almost like a big old double entendre there. Anyway, keep the same clothes for 3 days in the dope house and my knuckles so long shit look like a slinky. My person said he had a lick, now he ain't even link me. Fuck. And then it just kind of ends on this weird note of how, like, as you're going on, you know, people are kind of snaky and shit. And then I think, again, it's the open thread of be real with me, don't fuck around, but also you kind of get what you give, you know, in a way. I don't know. I really liked it. I thought it was a great track. I give it a 4.75 on 5.
Nice. I gave it a 4.2.
The next one on the track number 10, is called Shine. What was the video game cheat code I referenced last week, Chris? It was Contra's cheat code. Street life, Contra ain't no cheat code. I was like, the universe keeps connecting stuff, dude. Week over week, connections. It's amazing. Contra cheat code, bring it up randomly. Danny Brown brings it up the next week. What are the odds, Chris? Because you are all like,
oh no,
why'd you bring that up? And I'm like, I don't know, Chris. We didn't know at that time. It's because we were going to be able to reference it the following week with Danny Brown, and that's why I brought it up last week. Prophecy.
Oh yeah.
I think this is my favorite song on the album. The beat is ridiculous, like really, 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 really ridiculous. Like it stands out. It's completely different. That like 19s, but I keep it playing though. Let it inside dots into window. Wood grain wheel. Tell me how you really feel. Ride past other kids yelling out bingo. You know, just it's not so much rappy, but it's got more of a slower, calmer pace to it, where it feels serious in a way where the rest of the album feels a little more manic and goofy in tone and flow.
I feel that.
I don't know, man. I just like shit like speaking codes so nobody know the lingo. Like life like a dice game, ain't no casino. Street life contrary, no Chico. Every day on the line like a free throw.
Shit,
And I really like appreciate that because he's not even wrong, right? So as much as it might seem like slang is the only code or the streets had their own thing, yo, like corporate America has a whole world. Chris knows all about that AHT, man. He knows all about that shit. I'm certain there's a retention rate that he's heard about. Sales commission numbers.
My favorite corporate term is OOD. Okay? That's it.
What is it?
EOD. End
EOD.
of day.
End of day is 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
We need that shit in PPC. I was just quoting myself.
Please check out his song.
I wrote a song called Jargon. Well, no.
Plug right here.
I'm really like fascinated by how corporate slang is so accepted and cool. Like it's so highbrow in a sense. So if you can, so I wrote a song that I was kind of inspired by like Big L's Ebonics and how he broke down slang terms to hunkies like me. And I'm like, yo, what if I break down web marketing corporate jargon to everyone else and just you kind of describe it? And so I satirized a bit the software industry using their language. But like, it's true. We in corporate America will often speak in code using that jargon. And it's because life is like a dice game and etc. And you gotta be ruthless. And what he's saying here, as much as it might apply to like one line of life, I feel like in a lot of ways, a lot of the philosophy of what I see in the hip hop genre has really helped me navigate corporate America because it's the same shit. Like corporate America is just like the streets, except for maybe the violence part. But the psychological attentiveness, the ruthlessness, the backstabbings, a lot of the things he's doing, it's just really cool. But yo, man, there are some serious bars on this track, right?
I was taught, look out for your people, meet heaven, and you gotta know evil. Heart of a lion, eye of an eagle. Life is a movie, but ain't no sequel. Switch lanes is that new thing. Got on the red line while I'm playing flock of seagulls. I just like the way he said it.
Just what he's saying is powerful too.
Absolutely.
Like there's consequences and you got to live your life understanding that it's just what it is. It's a movie. It's amazing. It's grandiose, but there is no sequel. You've got this one. But it's more like in the haystack, I was that needle. Like I'm the great one. I made it. Hold it in, thinking no one will believe you. That's true. Lose it all in a second, like me too. And I'm like, the whole world is evil. And it's true, but like the world is evil, and that's like Me Too's a legitimate thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's trying to mock it. I'm saying that the truth is your life, if you make the wrong choices or you have a problem or whatever, or just you have bad luck even, you can lose it all in the way that Me Too can destroy a person's seriousness. So it's a really cool I found it like a really aware bar that I really enjoyed. Then chorus is, or the pre-chorus is fine. Gotta get what's mine before I lose my mind. Like I'm running out of time. Shine, light, man, shine. And it almost feels like he's following up in the last couple of tracks where it's like I gotta live my life to the fullest. Good, bad, whatever it is. This is me, and I'm gonna take the most out of these situations. And then I don't know. Blood Orange does the singy chorusy part, which is fine. Breakdown, lockdown, run up on a ball. Down the corner, if you see me, I'm a ball. I didn't really like the chorus that much. It wasn't my favorite. It sounded like really cool, but the words part, it was whatever.
I do appreciate the sound of it. It sounded a lot lower, if I'm not mistaken, to the rest of the song. It had more, it just kind of felt more distant, like disconnected, but I think the point of it was to try to just like give you this moment of like kind of thinking to yourself, but as well also kind of following along, because like breakdown, lockdown, run up on a ball, nothing that they used to, down on the corner, if you see me, I'm a ball. It's kind of the same like type of lyrics, just like what we've been getting, but I feel that the way they're being presented, it kind of just hits you differently, at least for myself. So I thought it was cool. I thought the chorus did a nice job on this song.
Yeah, and then you got the second verse, which I really like the way he plays up on that A. Like, A, got a ball if you fall. In a system that's designed, one strike, take it all.
A, all I take, one call, pray you lose it all, and second, all gone.
But it's interesting, right? Like, the stakes are so high, it's so easy to lose everything, which is, he's probably really familiar with loss, and this is almost like his comeback in a sense, because he had some hard times in life. Hey, you know you feeling all alone, but who gonna turn to when things go wrong? Hey, it's the plot all along, push you down the wrong path. The statistics are showing. So it's almost
That's
like
cool.
a lot of the manic ways people live, a lot of the lifestyles that end up getting indulged are systematically created. Like it's like everyone's life is engineered into this manic, drug crazed world.
Kind of really like it. Kind of really makes you think about the whole like your destiny is written type shit. Like, I know that's like a stretch, but in a sense, if we're all systematically oppressed to kind of go down a certain route, no matter what you do, it's like,
It's bad.
yeah,
news.
my destiny's already fucking written for me.
It's not quite like that, because then it's like you look on the other end of it where he takes the rest of the verse to kind of say, but I discovered the truth that everyone was lying to me, and so I'm gonna use my like whatever to share the truth of the situation. Why they buy the diamonds in the car with the shiny chrome? You know, it's like questioning this. Like, why do people keep doing this stuff? My fault. I'll load it in the scheme of it all, because he probably contributed with his younger music, pushing this thing, you know. Played like a bong, had to stay strong, got my head above water, had to keep moving on. Had my head above water, had to keep moving on. It just ends with this like strong endpoint. Like, yeah, everything was fucked. Even I was maybe part of it once upon a time, but now I'm able to go clean. Now I gotta focus, and I'm able to keep myself proper. And then it plays through, and it just kind of ends with that little outro. The dream is realized. My heart skips a beat. I'm tying my feet. The baby can't sleep. Defeat the sun. Reach the furthest. Relax. The weed is uncertain. Why men attack? Faxes unlocked. Dresses untied. Mind could explode. Time to cut ties. And it's almost like as you're achieving your world, you have to cut ties to the past and things that may have held you back once upon a time. And ultimately, I thought this song was brilliant. I thought it was just one of my favorites that I've heard on the entire album so far. I can't even describe how much I like it. I give it a 5 on 5. It's one of the best. It's my favorite song on this album.
Nice. I landed at a 4.3. I really enjoyed it. I really thought it was cool. But I think there's a certain like you have to like a certain sound to also really like give a lot of these like a 5 on 5 to me, or like a higher.
I feel like that's the case all the time for everything. You have to like it to give it a 5 on 5.
I mean, that's fair. 4.3.
All right. There's one more track on this project for us to discuss today, and it's Combat. Chris, I'm gonna freaking take you out through Mortal Kombat. All right, Chris, how do you feel about the final song on this album, Combat?
I think it was a really cool way to kind of wrap up the album in a way of how I kind of look at it was he was expressing that the whole place that he kind of grew up and where he comes from and just everything that we kind of live in is just a big combat zone. It's kind of just like you always have to kind of just be on your feet, really be ready to go. The intro of the song goes 12 gauge shotguns. I seen 12 gauge pumps. Already, like...
Hold on. Can we just point out this is the second beat produced by Q-Tip on this album, and I believe he's an executive producer on the project. Go on.
Absolutely. Actually, following up on that, this song does kind of sound a lot more old schooler for me, though. Like, compared to all the beats on the album, this one sounds a lot more boom-bappy, old schoolish, kind of more like, I would say, 90s than anything modern for what I hear. But following that, the song starts off, like I said, 12 gauge shotguns. I seen 12 gauge pumps. You're already kind of getting like this grimy image of like what's kind of going on and what's kind of happening. And then Danny Brown just comes right in and goes, I don't give a fuck. I could tuck a cat off the back of a fish truck. Tell me what's up. All about the game, so I'm hunting big buck. Big buck, big butt, slim waist, and her hair long. Pass it down to make me look like an heirloom. It's like he's still really consistent. He's still coming in with that same energy. But I like how he goes, it's all about game, so I'm hunting big buck. First thing on his mind was money, and it's like...
But when you're hunting game, you kill deers, big buck.
That too. So I like that, how he's like putting kind of money first, and it's kind of... It's like... It's not just him. It's like an overall concept. Like, this is what the combat zone is. You gotta work. You gotta fight for your money. You gotta fight for what you want. Big butt. You gotta fight for that girl that you want to be with, because there's the next man who's trying to do the same, right? So it was really cool. I feel like he just kind of connected a lot of those type of things there. I like when he goes boss up and shake down, get it jumping like a techno beat, like a techno breakdown. Night young and we getting started. Let me walk on yard at the Bursary Bridge Party. I don't know what a Bursary Bridge Party is, but I do like that in the way he was presenting these type of lines. It kind of, the beat was changing with it, and the way that he kind of flowed with it too was super, super cool. And I really noticed that. That was something I really enjoyed. But I feel like that's just kind of what the energy of the overall song was about. You have anything on verse 1?
I mean, I feel like you were absolutely right. Like, this track wraps up the album, kind of justifying like how he got into the life he got into by kind of breaking down the environment where you're coming from, you know? Got smoke, of course, going up fireworks on the 4th is a good line, right? Got smoke being like beef, complications, whatever, but also the results of firework going up on the 4th. Apparently,
I could be smoking weed.
Hold up. If we want to talk about climate change issues here for a second, fireworks are really bad for the environment, and maybe we should all give up fireworks for the sake of the planet. All those eco-friendly peoples out there. Just saying, campaign against the 4th of July and fireworks. I couldn't care less. Bonnie likes fireworks. I was okay with not seeing them. Used to chop up grounds on my grandma's faucet. Pay me what it cost. I ain't trying to hear offers. Like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make that money. And then, Q-Tip and Danny Brown are on the hook. What is it? What it is? What you know about? Came a long way from that dope house. So it again has that core theme of like looking back on the past. Mm-hmm. But again, I think it's about the environment and the attitude of when you're young. All I cared about was stacks on the stage, and it's time to re-up, and my partner got his hash. Ain't rocket science class, ain't trying to pass math. 12 grams on a scale. Watch me do arts and crafts. It's not complicated. It's real simple. I got my basics, but I'm going to make magic out of what I have. Tripped over the crack, crippled by circumstance. People got to face the facts, make this world your own. Sun sprinkled light for the mega marathon. Trying to live on through my music. The future influence, the next to do it. The odds are against you, kiddo. Life want everything from you like a divorced widow. Trying to get it like the next person want beef. Fuck around and end up a vegetable. Trying to give you a little game. Get some, get locked, get out, and back again. And it feels like he's in almost like the vein of what we've seen a lot in this genre. Migrating from this drug moves to the music to treat almost like the music like the drug game in the way that he's putting it out at the end of it. And life's going to be hard and you got to get focused. But I really like that want beef, you're going to fuck around and end up a vegetable line. Because it's like, here's the thing. If you want to have beef with me or just in general, if that's the world you want to end up with, you'll end up as a vegetable, which is like a person who's kind of crippled or handicapped.
Which is the complete opposite of what beef is too, so that's fine.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, I kind of like the end when they're like, it's a combat zone.
Well, this is verse 3. There's 4 verses on this.
I don't know if I really call that a verse. They just repeat the same shit pretty much the whole way through. There's a bit of changes, but it's more like an interlude.
Fair enough.
It's a combat zone. Every female on their own. Red top, blue top, get the green on the block. And it's pointing out, everybody's out there. Everybody's trying to get that bag.
Well, that's cool because red top, blue top, blood Crips, get the green on the block. They're all kind of coming for the same thing. Just get the money, get the whatever.
And then, trying to get that bag, catch that lick. So everyone's trying to do whatever, trying to serve from 12. It never fails when you're going through hell. And I feel like it's just saying, so while you're feeling like this, on top of that, everybody else is feeling like that, and there's some complications that arise.
Right.
And then you get the last verse here where it's like, listen, all that person want was a Chevy and some Daytons. Wasn't thinking about no lawyer, fuck saving. And that's it. It's
Daytons.
Yeah, from that track we did.
Daytons.
Basically, it's an interesting point that when you did get the money, when you should be saving for lawyers or what's going to inevitably happen when you maybe get clipped and you need some good legal whatevers.
Right.
On the other hand, blowing it all on cars and whatnot, didn't know we'd see them horrors like Wes Craven, hook jumping out the vans, throw us on the pavement. So, you're getting arrested, having some situations, locked up with dirty white boys, all musty, praying for probation, hope I get lucky, court-appointed lawyers, gotta stay copping, put you in predicament, that's their only option. So when you're living that whole life, if you're not prepared for it, you get locked up, you get to go through the system. It's really bad. And then it just kind of ends with you going to prison. I mean, kind of commenting like, how the fuck you supposed to carry your kids from the pen? It's the life that we chose. Friends become foes. The person snitched on everybody knows. Some don't know how to stick to the code. Nobody trusts. That's all the way life goes. So at the end of the day, because in this world there's going to be snitches and all this other stuff. You know what's really fascinating about snitches? So I've been looking a little bit into people. Well, there's this channel Valuetainment, and the dude's been basically reviewing a bunch of old-timey mobsters, like guys who are retired, guys who have been out of jail type shit. Apparently all these dudes are selling their story and trying to make money doing all these interviews and whatnot. It was an interesting phenomenon. Back in the day, a lot of this traffic charges or whatever would give you like 7-10 years. So this no snitching code was like really a real thing, and everybody like followed it. And then all of a sudden the charges were like 30 years to life type things, and all of a sudden all the OGs who lived by the code started singing like a bird. And this is in all ethnic group styled mafia gang things. This happened everywhere. It was the Italians, it was the street gangs, it was everybody. All the top guys started snitching. Not the soldiers. The soldiers, they brainwash with this code thing.
No, of course.
And then everybody snitches. And not like everybody. Obviously there are people who don't snitch, but leaders in these gangs tend to be the ones that snitch the most. Like, it's crazy, dudes, whoever, girls, there's some more women that watch these days. John Gotti Jr., the son of the mafia guy, and other dudes like Sammy the Bull and all these guys, they have like Facebook beefs where they publicly diss each other and make videos about each other. Like, we're talking about real life old school mobster guys who are basically middle-aged men new to Facebook, acting like our parents on the internet, getting mad and stuff. And it's goofy. That's all I'm trying to say is, because you know what the thing is, man? All these mafia guys are on all these interviews telling everybody about everybody. Right. There's no, like, where's the code at? It just seems like at the end of the day, even the guys on the rhymes, you're kind of just describing stuff. It's in a sense, I'm not saying it's all snitching, but
I mean, so the only thing I could say is, like, I guess it's easier to be like, I'm a hard gangster when it's like 7 to 10 years. You're like, you know, if you're 20, I'll be 30. But it's like
the years, it seems like everyone's snitching.
I mean, 30 years, bro. If you're 20, and that's like, 30, you're 50.
I bring this up because obviously 6ix9ine is the hot topic of debate, and everyone's like, easy, whatever, snitching, G codes, whatever. All I'm saying is, I think a lot more people would snitch given the prospect of life in jail than not. Like, we're talking about life. I don't know, man. That's not like you're coming home one day to the peoples. Now, maybe y'all have G codes and y'all live a certain life, and I'm not trying to imply that that's bad. I'm saying if you are honorable like that, I respect it. I would like to think that faced in the moment, I would not be a snitch. But I've also never had somebody say, you're facing life in prison. This person, is their life worth more than mine? You know, like, that's really what it comes down to, and it's really complicated. But I do think, in general, one should not be a snitch, because it's bad. I used to snitch out people at work by accident because I talk too much, and that's not good. So I understand the point of being a snitch being a very bad thing, and I don't think anyone should snitch. I'm just saying, it's a surprising number of top-profile people who like to snitch. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the top guys don't actually commit the low crimes. So, like, apparently stuff like the idea of getting, like, promoted into mafia required killing somebody, that's a fabrication.
Well, no, they just need somebody dead so they get the newbie to do it. And
no, but, like, there used to be this, like, illusion in the mob that to get promoted, to become a capo or whatever, to get, like, I don't remember what the term is, you had to commit a murder. And that was like the lore of it. So you would assume all these top guys all committed a murder. That everybody had to do it.
Oh, but they really didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, and then you get the end, and it just kind of describes, you know, Q-Tip and this Consequence guy describing the guns and the situations they've seen in their hood, and then kind of ending like pretty soon, you know, the hood's gonna somehow get a freaking atom bomb in their efforts to
beer can grenades, bro.
I know, it's crazy. I thought it was a cool way to end the album. I thought it was...
Or is it a beer can bazooka? What the fuck? Okay.
You know, it's crazy, but basically it's what you call it, but you create mechanisms and actual weapons out of innate objects. I love this as a closer. I think it's a cool kind of context setter for the whole album. Like, you think what you will about me, but keep in mind, I'm just one person from this world, and this is the world that's still out there, and there are many more people like me out there who need help, who need awareness, kind of thing. I think it's really positive in a way. So I give it another 4.5 on 5 to end up this album.
For me, the song, I gave it a 4.3. I thought it was cool. I really enjoyed the beat. I didn't really feel like the lyrics themselves are actually kind of like super duper different than what we were getting, but I do think that they did wrap up the album properly. And in terms of like ending it on the fact of like it's a combat zone, and then going through everything on the album, since we're just kind of moving into that, it's like you hear track 1 to 10, and then you get to track 11, and he's like, this is a combat zone. And it's like, you can't really argue him. You can't really have an opinion about it, because he just gave you 10 fucking tracks explaining why it was. And that's how I really thought it was super cool. It's like, this is what I basically explained to you why this is what it is, like what the world I kind of live in is like, and now I'm just going to tell you what it is, and that's point final. It was super cool for me. I really enjoy the production. I really enjoy the lyrics. I really enjoy the presentation. It was a really cool first look, full look at Danny Brown for me. You know, I'm really impressed, really impressed. The album itself, though, landed a 4.1 on 5 for me.
I mean, I think this album is a fucking classic. And I say that for my versions of what I would call to be a classic, as in a timeless experience where 5 years from now, I'm going to still put this project on and think it's of the same quality it is. And maybe you might go, how do you know that? And maybe I'm wrong. That is possible. But there's an authenticity and to both the lyrical content, the delivery, and the musicality of this album that to me makes it stand out amongst the different projects I've heard this year. The lyrical content was something powerful that you can relate to. It's like you can tell based on what he's describing that Danny Brown has lived through some insane experiences in his life. You can tell that his emotions are deep and powerful, and that none of this is just faked, right?
Right.
Unlike a lot of people who might be talking about very similar things for the sake of the dollar. And in a sense, you can tell it because for him, it's a struggle to get to the same place other people might be at.
Right.
Plus, he's like 38, dropping this intense, emotional, intelligent album.
But I think that also plays I think that also has a factor in it. Like, the older you get, you know, the more, I guess, the music you produce may be a little bit different.
Well, I would hope.
I would love to think, because
I would like. In my hope is you get older and you start rhyming different. That's why I'm not as thrilled with a couple of Eminem's most recent year of features. Album, whatever. His year of features was just him whining about his career. It was hard for me to get behind because he's like doing so well. Mm-hmm. You shattered records on Killshot. Your career's doing fine. The numbers even say you're the coolest kid in town. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Either way, I think that from like a track to track level, each song is different and creates this experience of like, you just want to hear it, and you don't get bored because each song brings something new in emotions and tone to the table, while Danny Brown remains consistent in the way he delivers throughout the project. Not to say like all the flows are the same, but it's consistent in a quality sense that's just amazing to listen to. The features are sparse and well done, mostly for hook purposes, and it really works. It makes it really a Danny Brown experience. I gave the album a 4.59 on 5, and it's up there with my favorite projects I've heard this year. It would probably make my top 10 list at the end of the year. I'd be surprised at this point in October if many things are going to top this, but we don't know. Benny the Butcher did say Tana Talk 4 is coming. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, I really like the album. I think I would highly recommend it to a lot of people, and if you don't like it, that's totally fine, but I still think it's an interesting example of how hip-hop is evolving and moving in new directions and staying very alive and becoming like almost a new iteration of something more, not to say more interesting, but interesting because it's able to stay alive and revive itself in this new artistic expression, you know, like, and maybe it's just rehashing some old stuff, but I feel like the genre lines are getting more and more blurred with the music behind it, making it cool. Anyway, maybe I'm just talking on my ass. We'll end this one here then. So thank y'all for watching. Totally appreciate you being here with us. For those of you that made it to the end, y'all the real MVPs. Feel free to leave a comment letting us know what you thought about anything that you saw in this review. Feel free to like the video if you liked it. If you do leave a comment, we'll be totally answering you in the comment section, because that makes it more fun. And subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Coney Sparks. They support what we do, helped us get a new camera, get to tell us what albums they want us to review, and they're going to help us get a website and a few other cool things, because, well, it just helps to have some stuff coming in to offset some of the cost, we'll say. So if you want to support us and get to the next level, you can help us out like that. And I make music, we make music. I got an album coming real soon. You'll be able to check that out on this channel in a live stream on the 16th of October, so watch for that. Everybody, y'all are awesome. Live long, prosper, and let's hope that VR reality lets us connect in an amazing way soon. Bye, guys.
Have fun.